I didn't plan to see his face that day, but there he was, standing across the street, staring up at the building like he'd just seen a ghost. My name was right there, huge, impossible to miss, and for the first time in my life, my brother looked small. I stayed inside the car a few seconds longer, gripping the steering wheel tighter than I needed to. My heart wasn't racing from excitement, it was something else, something deeper, something old. Because that moment, it wasn't just about the building, it was about everything that came before it. I grew up in a house where love had conditions, and somehow I never seemed to meet them. My brother, Daniel, was different. He was the favorite, always had been. When he got average grades, my parents called him capable. When I got the same, they called me disappointing. When he wanted something, they found a way to give it to him. When I asked for the same, I got silence, or worse, a lecture. I remember one night so clearly it still feels fresh. We were at dinner. My parents had just surprised Daniel with a brand new car for college. He didn't even look that excited, just nodded, like it was expected, like it was normal. I smiled. Of course I did. But inside, something cracked. Because just a week earlier, I had asked for help with my tuition. Not even all of it, just a part. And my father had looked at me like I'd asked for something ridiculous. Figure it out, Emily. You're old enough. Same house, same parents, different rules. That was the moment I stopped asking, stopped expecting, stopped believing things would ever be fair. Instead, I started building something quietly, something they couldn't see, couldn't judge, couldn't take credit for. It wasn't easy. There were nights I slept barely 3 hours, days I worked 2 jobs just to stay afloat, and moments, too many moments, where I almost gave up. Because the truth is, when the people who are supposed to believe in you don't, it changes how you see yourself. But I kept going. Not because I was strong, but because I had no other choice. And slowly, things started to shift. Opportunities came, then bigger ones, then risks. The kind that either break you or change everything. I took them anyway. And somewhere along the way, I stopped doing it to prove them wrong and started doing it for me. Still, I never imagined this moment. Him standing there, looking up at something that had my name on it, something he didn't help build, didn't even know existed. I finally opened the car door, stepped out, and started walking toward him. Every step felt heavier than it should have. Not because I was nervous, but because I knew exactly what this moment meant. For years, I had been invisible to him, to all of them, and now there was no way to ignore me. Daniel still hadn't noticed me approaching. His eyes were locked on the building, the name, my name, Emily Carter. Clean, bold, right across the glass front. I remembered when it was just an idea scribbled in a notebook, something small, something fragile, and now it stood taller than anything I had ever dreamed. Did you get lost? My voice was calm, too calm. He turned, and for a second he just stared, like his brain couldn't catch up to what his eyes were seeing. Emily? I nodded slightly. Close enough now to see every detail in his expression. Confusion, disbelief, and something else, something I had never seen from him before. Doubt. You work here? He asked. Work. The word almost made me smile, but I didn't. Instead, I glanced at the building, then back at him. I built it. Silence. Thick. Heavy. The kind that fills every inch of space. He blinked. Once, twice. Like maybe he thought he misheard me. That's not... He started, then stopped. Because even he knew how it sounded. Impossible. Unlikely. not me, not the girl they all underestimated. "You always said I wouldn't make it," I added quietly. No anger, no bitterness, just truth. He shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't mean—" "You did." I didn't raise my voice, didn't need to, because we both knew. Every comment, every joke, every time he laughed when I talked about my plans, it all came back now, standing right between us, and for once, he didn't have anything to say. We stood there longer than either of us expected, neither moving, neither looking away. The city noise faded into the background, cars passing, people walking. None of it mattered, because for the first time, the roles had changed. "You never told us," he said finally. Us. That word again, like they were still a team and I was still outside it. I let out a small breath. Would it have mattered? He didn't answer, because deep down, he knew the truth. It wouldn't have. They had already decided who I was a long time ago, and nothing I said back then would have changed that. "I thought you were struggling," he admitted. I was. That part wasn't a lie. I just didn't stay there. His eyes flickered, something shifting behind them. Maybe regret, maybe realization, maybe both. "You should come by sometime," I said after a pause, not as an invitation, more like a statement, a possibility. He looked at the building again, then back at me. "Yeah, maybe I will." But we both knew it wouldn't be the same.
Because this place, this life, it wasn't built with them. It was built despite them. That night, I didn't go home right away. I stayed a little longer, inside the building, walking through the halls I had once only imagined. Every step, every corner, every detail, it all felt real, because it was. Not a dream, not luck, not something handed to me, something earned, something fought for, something built from nothing. I stopped in front of the main glass wall, the city lights reflecting back at me, and for a moment I just stood there, quiet, still, letting it sink in. Not the success, not the building, but the journey, because the truth is, this was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving to myself that I wasn't who they said I was, that I could become something more, something better. And maybe that was the real victory. Not the moment my brother saw my name on that building, but the moment I stopped needing him to.